Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Wednesday, November the 23rd, 2022. Hope y'all are doing well. Chris Phillips here, the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. Appreciate you all tuning in. I see Gene Lott. Kemper, happy Thanksgiving, my guy. Justin Langford as well. Travie, Brennan M., Todd Smith, Rob, Gad, Sholin, Chuck McIntosh, Connor Lee, Noah Johns, Kevin Crossland, Luke Davis with the first comment. Cocky Twan, what's going on? Appreciate you all tuning in. Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord, have the TDC Questions channel. The TDC Questions channel, be sure your questions are answered there, guys. We are rocking. We are rolling here on this Thanksgiving Eve, here on this Wednesday. Again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We got a lot to get into, a lot to discuss. Of course, my good friend Anthony Treesh going to join us here in just a moment. We've also got JC Sherbert at 1:15, so we are double dipping here on this Wednesday, of course, with no TDC tomorrow. And again, I appreciate y'all rocking and rolling with the punches and being understanding in regards to that. Of course, as always, guys, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go down the Prize Picks app, go to prizepicks.com. When you do, use the promo code TSUS to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Yeah, shout out to the guy Trev Hewitt, man. That song he made, that Beamer Ball song, incredible. We reposted it on Facebook. I saw he commented yesterday, and I just did not get to it. Trev Hewitt. Shout out to him, Trev Hewitt. That was incredible. Let's see. Guys, again, thank y'all so much. I've had a lot of folks send me Clemson Tom's response video, and I thought my response on Twitter summed it up beautifully. Yeah, I mean, that's all you get from me. So, Luke Davis asked, Chris, are you going to the game? No, we are throwing a watch party Saturday in Columbia at Carolina Ale House. Of course, Carolina Ale House, one of our business partners. We've thrown watch parties for all of the South Carolina road games this season. We will indeed do that on Saturday as well. So, no, we will be throwing no watch party. Columbia, though, if you're not going to the game, all my Columbia Gamecocks, all my Midland Gamecocks, all my folks around the area, if you need somewhere to post up and watch, we will be at Carolina Ale House in Harbison on Saturday afternoon. Looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun, and appreciate all of those of you that support and show love and that show out to those, man. It's a ton of fun watching the games with you. Again, I sent the link over to Anthony Treesh. I have not heard from Anthony, so we will see. We will see if he actually joins the show at 12:05. If he doesn't, we'll just take your questions, comments, calls. But I believe Anthony will be joining us at 12:05, and I hope he does because we got a lot to discuss and a lot to get into. Again, appreciate you guys. Podcast dropped this morning, episode 732. Also, I want to say thank y'all so much, man, for the love and support of the merchandise side of the business. I am finally caught up. We finally got all towel orders, all koozies orders, all those orders shipped out. I have been packaging and shipping koozies and towels non-stop since Sunday. Non-stop. So I want to say thank y'all so much, man. It's incredible, the love and support on the merchandise side of the business. I know many people have asked, where can you get this hat? TSUS.store is where you can find it. It is on the online store. You'll see at the very top, we've got a Clem Sucks collection. So if you want to shop all things Clem Sucks, hats, beanies, T-shirts, everything you can think of, we've got it there. Stickers. So Luke Davis, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? I will be hanging out with family and friends. Looking forward to that, doing the Thanksgiving thing, watching football, overeating, right? Doing the typical Thanksgiving tradition and giving thanks as well. And I want to say this, guys, I said on the podcast today, but I'll say it yet again. I am so thankful for each and every single one of you that tunes in, that shows love, that shows support. So thankful for you guys, even more than you may know. So I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so thankful for everything. Thankful we have the opportunity to do this every single day and conversate and banter together. And I appreciate each and every single one of you. Again, guys, we're waiting on Anthony Treesh. Apparently, my guy Chuck McIntosh changed his name in the TDC questions or in the Big Cock Club Discord to Slapdick McIntosh. Love that. He says, let's rock this joint. By the way, guys, tomorrow, of course, it is Thanksgiving, but I will be getting back on home soil tomorrow afternoon. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody we might hang out in the Big Cock Club Discord. So if you want to join the Big Cock Club, patreon.com/Big Cock Club is where you can find it. Join us, join the Discord, and I don't know, maybe we can get one of my guys in there or somebody in there to stream the Egg Bowl or something like that. I tell you, some of my favorite memories of Thanksgiving week for sure are just watching ball, man, watching all the games and hanging out. Let's see. I think maybe Anthony Treesh had plans today. I don't know. Maybe he had plans today. I forget. I forgot. Either way, okay, let's just open the phone lines up. I don't know. Maybe I forgot about that. Dude, it's crazy this week with people's travel plans. And I mean, even if he doesn't come on, we do have JC Sherbert coming on at 1:15, but I guess I should have hit up Anthony Trees before 11:55. That's my bad. That's my bad. So again, phone lines are open now. 843-790-3377. If he does join us, we'll get him on at some point. But in the meantime, guys, I do want to hear from you. As I said yesterday, guys, of course, I dropped my best bet today, and I like the under. I like the under. I think it'll be a very back and forth game. I think it'll be like two heavyweight fighters sort of feeling each other out. I don't think, let me put it this way. I don't think South Carolina is a 63-point per game offense like we saw against Tennessee. I also don't think they're a 0-point per game offense like we saw against Florida. The truth typically, right, lies somewhere in the middle. So I don't think you're going to see some offensive explosion. Again, I saw my guy Cocky Twan. I think he put 52-21 Gamecocks. I don't see that happening. Clemson's defense is much better than Tennessee's, right? You look at the numbers. If you're going to get them, it's typically through the passing game. They're allowing 214 yards per game through the air, but just 114 yards per game. Or excuse me, 104 yards per game on the ground. They've just allowed 8 rushing touchdowns all season long. So I would say that if South Carolina is going to have success, it's going to come through the air, I would imagine. And I would like to see South going to continue to stay on the attack, obviously. Would like to see the Gamecocks stay on the attack. And, I view Clemson similarly to how they were last year. I mean, they're going to run the football. It's what they want to do. I would imagine it's going to be a run-heavy game. I don't think DJU's a quarterback that's going to just line up and beat you. So if you can slow down the run, get them in third and longs, he's had his moments for sure. I'm not saying he's not capable, but I think that's what you got to sell out on. That's where you got to take your chances. Give your secondary an opportunity to eat. You got to commit to stopping the run first, though. You got to commit to stopping Shipley, slowing down Shipley. You got to commit to it. Travis Lee says, as bad as I hate to say this, 31-7. Clem sucks. Letdown game on the road, and it's Clem sucks. We will shit the bed. Damn, Travis Lee, you said you're going to go into this thing with 0 expectations. I hear you, big dog. My goodness. Okay. But I will say this, though, to the letdown game note. I was doing some digging. While I was doing some digging on this game, I thought it was really interesting. You talk to enough South Carolina fans, and it's like, why is there this narrative that every time the Gamecocks play a great game, they follow it up with a poor performance? What's crazy, guys, is the numbers actually reflect it. It's not just the narrative. There's actually data and stats to back this up. Following an against the spread win, right, which is obviously what South Carolina did against Tennessee. Following an against the spread win, the Gamecocks in their last 11 games are 1-9-1 against the spread. So, translation, typically, the week following a week in which South Carolina overachieves, they tend to underachieve. So it's not just something you've come up with in your head. It's like the stats show, for whatever reason, this is actually happening. So we'll see if that changes this weekend. Chick Nugget says, prediction 33-30 South Carolina. Slapdick McIntosh. I love it, bro. Slapdick McIntosh. Slapdick McIntosh says in the TDC Questions channel, 35-17 Gamecocks. We finally found some offense. I mean, and here's the thing, and I don't tell you that stat to tell you, well, this is definitely what's going to happen. I mean, But, it's interesting when you look at games, look at the trends, right? I mean, Carolina 7-0 during the night, 0-4 during day. I mean, Clemson's won 40 in a row at home. They won 7 in a row in the rivalry. But I view, and I see Jonathan Hall commenting, it's only going to be close if it's sloppy on the score. Well, thank God, Carolina's not playing a Tennessee offense. They're playing Clemson's offense, which I think is very manageable. I think I genuinely don't have any concerns about the Gamecocks defense. I think the commitment will be to stopping the run, but I don't have a ton of concerns defensively. Here we go. Michael, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up? I just had a quick question. Would you still consider Clemson your little brother if Spurrier hadn't won 5 years in a row? Because I saw your little brother comment. Kind of crazy how, a 30-game lead makes it seem like we're your little brother. I was just kind of confused. I wanted you to clarify a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. It is crazy, right? Clemson has pretty much dominated the rivalry, yet you wouldn't know it based off the banter and the conversation on social media, my friend. It is wild. It is wild. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to – the numbers are what the numbers are. Clemson has the upper hand in the overall record, but yeah, man, I said what I said. It's still funny on a yearly basis. It's tis tradition to get under the Tiger's skin and vice versa. They've got people that do the same thing to our fan base. So that's just the beauty of it, though.
Gotta love it. Clemson cycling out, right?
Quote Todd Ellis, not I. Quote Todd Ellis, not I.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you, man. Great stuff. I think we've got the Clem Sucks folk calling in on the airways. And yeah, that is a very good point. Never forget, Clem Sucks was founded out of hate, founded out of spite, founded out of disdain. That's literally the foundation of the university. Right? So, let's see. Marcus Satterfield saying he's very optimistic that one of Lloyd or Christian Beal Smith will play Saturday. He will not say who it is. So we shall see. We shall see who it is. Satterfield. It's funny, again, guys, and that's what I told you. It's funny when you win how little people pay attention to these coordinator press conferences, or just press conferences in general. Like it's not nearly as big a deal. It's not nearly as big a deal, right? Let's see. Anyways, okay. Yeah, line of scrimmage absolutely is key. I will agree with you on that, Jay Hall. It is for sure. I mean, it's I know it's, again, not the sexiest thing to talk about, but that's really what it comes down to. Line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage is key in this football game. I mean, you saw Clemson last year. They took over. They took over on the line of scrimmage. They took over up front. Obviously, Jason Brown had no answer for it. And I think last year that was the moment where you knew Carolina had to go get a legit quarterback.
Exactly, Hall of Famer.
Robbie Davis, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I just got done with my first walk of the day, so once the show is over, I'm gonna do my second one.
Beautiful.
So if I sound a little out of breath, that's why. So
I love that, Robbie. Love that. Love to hear that. Getting those steps in.
So, getting my 10,000 steps in, and I haven't walked in the last 2 days. So I was like, I'm gonna walk before the show comes on. So I literally a few minutes ago walked in the door, but and that's why I'm a little out of breath. But I am somewhat optimistic about Saturday because of what happened. Because of, I don't know if it was just off of pure luck that we scored 63 points against Tennessee, or Tennessee secondary was just that bad. I don't know, and I don't care. We beat Tennessee either way. I don't give a damn. I don't care. But like I said the other day, right, this is one of the – with rivalry games, records and history goes out the damn window. Okay, records and history go out the damn window.
Mhm.
I don't give a damn that Clemson's 9-1. I don't give a shit because their conference is shitty. I don't care. All right, I may have pissed off some Clemson fans right there, but I don't give a shit. It's Clemson week. I don't care. I truly believe that if we show from the time that ball is kicked that it's going to be a in your face, like Ivan Drago versus Rocky and Rocky Ford, just throwing haymakers all day long. I think we can somehow at least. Trust me, I want us to win, but I think we can keep it close. But I don't see a reason, just with how up and down this season has been, to where we win this ball game. In order for us to have a chance to win this ball game, we have got to force Clemson to turn the ball over and capitalize off of it.
That's right. You're locking in your prediction today, correct, Robbie?
Yes. I think it'll be a lot closer than a lot of people think, but I feel like we obviously, like I said during the season, in every single game this season, I think we had the better quarterback. It's just for some reason it took us 11 games to gel. Okay. I think if the team as a whole plays the way they played last Saturday, I think we'll make it close, and it won't be an ass whooping like last year. But I think the score will be 35-27 Clemson.
Robbie, I respect your ability to think critically and make a prediction like that. I really genuinely respect that. I do. I know the amount of guts and gall that takes on your end.
And disdain that I have for that team.
I respect it. I respect the absolute heck out of
disdain that I have. And honestly, those words tasted like vinegar through a 2-inch PVC pipe coming out of my mouth. Okay, I did not want to say that, but I was like, you know what? We've had such an up and down season, like I said, and it would be very, very normal for us to shit the bed come Saturday.
I mean, again, and I just talked about it, I'm sure you heard, like, the numbers back it up. We
Right.
typically, at least lately, follow up a really good performance with a not so great performance. So, no, listen, I think you make a lot of great points. I know that this fan base, if we're honest with ourselves, is a bit conflicted right now because, I mean, Florida and Tennessee could not have been more polar opposites. Just complete. So it's like, what team shows up? You know what I mean? It's like what
going
version.
into both of those games, by the way. Going into both of those games, the Florida game and the Tennessee game, I was like, okay, we're going to beat Florida and probably get our shit kicked in against Tennessee. But it was the complete opposite. We got the crap kicked out of us by Florida and beat Tennessee. It was the complete opposite of what my thought process was going into those two games.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's
like,
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
And like the trainer in Rocky IV, right? Whenever Rocky punches him and he bleeds, he goes into the corner after the round is over and says, "See, he's a man. He's not a machine. He bleeds, so you can beat him." And Clemson is beatable.
Oh, indeed.
I see Clemson like Ivan Drago. You punch him enough and make him bleed, he's gonna panic. They're gonna make a mistake, and we can make it closer than a lot of people think. Because I do not want to see another 30-0 beat down again. I don't. I'm pretty sure everybody else doesn't want to see that either. Okay, unless of course you wear that god awful orange and purple with a paw on it. Okay, but if the team as a whole plays like they played last week, we will give Clemson a lot of hell to deal with come Saturday afternoon.
Oh yeah, I mean I'll be unbearable. So.
Oh yeah.
No,
would be unbearable.
yeah. I mean, like I said, Robbie, I can really genuinely. I really can genuinely respect your perspective on this game and your viewpoint on it. I can. I 100% can because I know I picked a victory over the summer. And the reason I picked a win over the summer is because I thought what we saw against Tennessee, not maybe to that level, but I thought that was going to be the norm. I thought that you were going to see a dynamic offense all year. And so if you had seen that dynamic offense all year, even if you were 7-4, right? If you had seen that dynamic offense all year, I'd be confident in saying, well, Carolina's going to have that dynamic offense. They're going to go out there and score. And, I think they're going to they're going to be able to get the W. And I'm not spoiling any predictions because I genuinely right now, I don't know what I'm going with. I'm still processing through and breaking down this game. But, the storyline when we talked about our opponent previews way back in the summer, I mean, Robbie, the storyline was, what does Carolina have to do? Not to snap the streak. What does Carolina have to do to bring competitiveness back to the rivalry? I mean, truly. Like if we're being honest, right? What does Carolina have to do to bring competitiveness back? So, there's obviously no moral victories in this ball game. I'm happy. We're obviously entertaining the thought that Carolina could very well go out there. And I think they very well could go out there and get the win. I don't, I'll say the same thing I said over the summer. I stand by this. And hey, I'll eat crow if Clemson wins 45-7 or whatever. But I view Clemson as mortal. I don't think Clemson is some like you said, they're man, not machine. Like they bleed just like we bleed. I don't view Clemson as some unbeatable. I thought Tennessee was a much more difficult game to win than Clemson. I really did. I mean, I really, really did. And I still probably do believe that. So, for whatever reason, there's been this trend that Clemson plays like the 2001 Miami Hurricanes when we play them. For whatever reason, they play their best game when we play against them. It's time to see if maybe that trend stops, and we're due for Clemson to just play like shit against us. I'm not saying them give us the game, but it's we're more than due for for that. So yeah.
And like I said yesterday, right? In order for us to have a chance at making this a game or possibly winning it, right? You've got to shut down Shipley and force DJ to beat you.
Yeah, I mean that's your best shot. That's your best bet.
Where let's see who has the better quarterback, and let's see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario in which Clemson's obviously running up and down the field, and I don't see you having a lot of success doing that. So yeah, I'd agree with you. Shut down Shipley is, I think, priority number one for this team and this defense.
Because that's one of the things that we did against Clemson in, 2011, when they played us at home, I think. No, we played them at home.
Yeah, in 11. Yeah.
We forced Taj Boyd to beat us. We didn't let them run the football hardly ever, okay? We forced Taj Boyd to make decisions, and Clowney and the front four made his life a living hell.
Yeah.
And I see that I could see the same thing happening somewhat Saturday.
Indeed. So you're locked in. Go ahead.
35-27, and this is a complete side note because I know we got about 2 months till then. I looked at the baseball schedule just for the hell of it, and we play Tennessee in a 3-game series at home on the 18th of May.
And yeah, I think it's the last home series of the year, actually.
So I think I'm going to start making it a tradition. If they have a home baseball game the weekend of my birthday, I'm going. I'm going to find a way to go. So hopefully I can swing that and make it happen.
I love that. You should. Robbie, 3527. You're locked in. I appreciate the call. We got somebody ringing in. It's always a pleasure.
No problem.
My guy.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you, my man. I appreciate you. Much love. Here, let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Will.
What's up? Here we go. Will, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What's going on?
Well, see, I was just scrolling through Instagram, found this old picture of you wearing a North Augusta baseball shirt and a Clemson hat.
Mm-hmm.
But you claim to be the biggest South Carolina fan, so what's up with that?
Yeah, that is me, man. Yeah, I was a Gamecock fan in that picture, believe it or not. I've told this story probably 1,000 times, but I guess this will make it 1,001. Yeah, I was 16, went to a Clemson baseball camp, and I just rocked the hat, man. I mean, that's it. So I got no regrets for that picture. But yeah, I was a Gamecock fan in that picture, believe it or not. But I liked the Clemson baseball hat, so that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I didn't endure 63-17 in 2003 to hear the nonsense that I jumped on when Spurrier started beating Clemson. I can assure you, I endured the shit of the rivalry. My first Carolina Clemson game that I was a diehard fan, I was 12 that year, was 63-17. I made a bet with my middle school teacher that Carolina would win, and for losing, I had to wear a paper chain, orange and purple paper chain with a picture of the scoreboard printed out and at the bottom of the chain. So I can assure you, I was a South Carolina fan through and through. But, I was a baseball player before I was a college football fan. So, I told people in high school, I was like, hey, I'm a Gamecock fan, but if Clemson offered me a scholarship to go play baseball, I would go 1,000%. So, yeah, I rocked the hat. I got
one more.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I got one more question.
Mm-hmm.
When is 7-5, 6-6, 8-4 gonna get? Like, when is that gonna be? When is Shane Beamer? When is it gonna be acceptable or unacceptable for Shane Beamer to go 6-6, 7-5, 8-4? How many more years is that acceptable for Shane Beamer?
Yeah, I mean, I at what point do the expectations rise above that? Because, I would argue that if Shane Beamer averaged 8-4 over the course of a decade, I feel like, that would be a high note for Carolina football. I mean, how many decades have they averaged? If you go back and look at all the decades of South Carolina football, how many decades have they averaged 8+ wins per year in a decade? I would say around year 4, year 5, you would start to really push the expectations further. But I think it's more importantly the offense. I think his number one priority is solving the offense. If you're going 8-4 and you're scoring a lot of points, I think people can live with it, but there's just no way, in my opinion, that they can continue to play offense the way they have. And, yeah. So, I mean, I think Beamer's going to get time. I think the fan base is going to be patient with him. It's hard to put a year on it because, again, I mean, people already in year 2 we're chirping about, and we're seeing coaches get fired in year 3. So, I would say year 4, year 5, though, you would start, raising the expectations. But, I mean, it took Spurrier 6 years to get it rolling. So, yeah, something like that. But
one more question.
Go ahead.
The miracle in Willie didn't happen last week. Do you think Satterfield would still be the offensive coordinator coming into this week?
I think he'd still be the OC. Yes.
Or do you think?
I don't think he would have gotten fired the week of the Clemson game. My guy, I appreciate the question. We're going to jump to another call here. Let's go.
from
Josh.
Here we go. Josh, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
What's up? You probably see me in the comments as WD40. I pop in every now and again.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Hard to miss WD-40 in the comments.
Oh, yeah. Got to keep the brand going.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
But I've been watching a lot of Clemson football this year,
Mhm.
and they look pretty, what you would say, dominant on the outside looking in. But also they do play in the softest conference besides the MAC. So I have a lot of Clemson friends. Most of my friends are Clemson fans, and they tend to give me a lot more heck than I like to bear.
Mhm.
But around this Carolina brethren in this group in the Spurs Up show, I'd like to say, without being cussed out and told that I am totally wrong, that I don't think that Clemson has much merit to even be ranked number 8 in the country after losing to Notre Dame.
Mhm.
I don't think DJ has the poise, even at home at noon in his own crowd, to carry that weight and beat us if we show up like we did against Tennessee. I don't know if Marcus Satterfield called them plays with. I think Freddie Kitchens was in the booth. That's just my opinion. But I'm thinking, though, 35 to 31 South Carolina, though. Definitely.
35 to 21. Is that what you said?
35 to 31, my friend.
Oh, 35-31. Okay. High scoring game. Carolina winning. I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Yes, sir. Spurs up.
I'd take that in a heartbeat. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm going to call that best case scenario, and then worst case if we end up pulling a Florida burger. Who, God forbid, 42 to Kai Kroger 6.
Kai Kroger 6. Shit, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Which version of Carolina will show up? Yeah, that's the scary part. So.
I appreciate you, dog. Appreciate the show. Always wanted to just call in. And
yeah, no, dude. It's great to hear from the legend that is WD-40. Truly.
Yes, sir. You'll see me in the comments, brother.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. You too, Chris.
Take care. Great stuff. 843-790-3377. WD-40. Giving a call. No, listen, I don't know who that was that called in asking me the question about the Clemson hat picture. But, I mean, dude, here's the thing. I'm more than happy to talk about it because it's not like I'm, like, insecure about it or hiding from it. Like, I was a Gamecock fan in that photo. But I love social media because so many people are like, oh, did you see this? You need to refute this. You need to say something about this. I love watching people on social media take something and create their own narrative and run with it. Chase Orban, what's up, man?
What's going on, Chris?
Just hanging out, man. What's up?
Dude, I have to say, man, I don't know what it is with us beating long streaks or good teams or what we perceive to be good teams when we beat them. But, man, does it feel like every time we beat a good team, there's always some controversy after it and that it was just a fluke? If you've read anything about that player from Tennessee that fought with the QBs and all that, got his jaw broken or whatever, and all the players were fighting over NIL.
Yeah, I dude, honestly,
I'm not saying I believe it's a fluke, but it's just more so I don't know what Kentucky. It was Will Levis was hurt. Texas A&M. It was just the fact that they're just literally a dog shit team this year, and Tennessee. It was the fact that that players were not ready mentally and that they had controversy happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, in your opinion, when I watched the game, I mean, I can understand the defense being a little bit off, but I still feel like the Gamecocks played flawlessly on offense.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Chase. When you lose, everybody has an excuse. Everybody's got an excuse, man. I mean, dude, Tennessee fans, I was talking to them last night. Bama fans were saying some of the same things they're saying to us after they beat them about the field. They're sand on the field. Like, I mean, come on, dude. Like, I just feel like fan bases, man, fans pull every excuse card they can when their team loses. They can't just take the loss like a, take the loss for what it is and just accept, hey, we got beat. We got beat. That's it. There's no excuses. You know what I mean? So I be honest with you, man, the whole conspiracy theories, I don't pay any attention to it. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't.
Oh, well, I wasn't calling to get you to confirm or deny.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
About
yeah.
it. It's like it sucks about that coming out is that our players are going to read that, or the Gamecock players are going to read that, and they're some of them. I'm not saying they will because Shane Beamer's a hell of a coach, but you worry that they would doubt themselves and think, well, did we only win because of that bullshit? Excuse my language.
Yeah.
The only reason why we caught them off guard was because they had something going on, and then that's the worst thing to happen when we're about to play our rival away. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to worry or cause anxiety, but just I'm tired of hearing that shit. I'm tired of hearing these news outlets and all that trying to play down on us when we rightfully win and we beat the hell out of that team.
Well, my friend, I would tell you this. It's easier to change who you're listening to than to change what they are saying. I would put it that way.
Yeah. I got you, man.
People are going to hate, bro. People are going to throw shade no matter what. So to hell with them, whatever. We kicked Tennessee's ass. If you can't accept that, it's not really my problem.
I'm sure I'm not the first person to ask this, but do you have any predictions for the game?
For the Clemson game?
Yeah.
I'm not going to drop my official prediction until Friday. Because I'm not ready to post a prediction. I'm really not, man. I'm going back and forth on it because, again, we just don't know which Carolina team's going to show up. We don't know if that offensive attack, that offensive philosophy, that offense is going to come into this game. So I will say this. I will tell you this. If I have one prediction I can give you right now, I do think this is a much closer contest than we've seen the past couple of years. Clemson's just, let's call it for what it is. They've dominated the game, right? It's every year, it seems. I think it's a much closer back and forth. We're getting to the fourth quarter, and this is a ball game type of game. I don't think it's a blowout. I mean, again, I posted the stat, since 2008, since 2008, only one game has been decided by single digits. I think this is it's most likely a single-digit game, but I don't think it's a blowout like we've seen in recent years. So I'll go out and say that, but as far as locking in a score prediction, I'm not quite ready to do so.
Yeah, that's fair, man. I just tell you, it feels like the only thing. What the real problem is, Will Shipley's coming at us, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be hell, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Carolina's got to be able to slow down the run game. That's the biggest thing. They got to be able to slow down the run game. They know that. Clayton White knows that. Like I said, I will go to battle with our secondary.
Maybe the Gamecocks put us a stand on the field and Shipley clips his heel or something. Who knows, man?
Hey, whether it be by conspiracy theory or voodoo or whatever, I don't give a damn. As long as we beat Clem sucks, I don't care how it happens.
All right, buddy. Well, I just want to call in and talk about that BS, man, because I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, either way, man, they can't take the victory away from us, my guy. I appreciate you calling in, Chase.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Take care. Chase is the man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I haven't worried about any of the nonsense. Now what could this call be?
Press 2.
Actually, I'm gonna make a new rule. If you're not willing to put some sort of name or something, like you're not getting in on this show. Here we go. Let's jump back to the phone lines here. Nick, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. How about yourself, Chris?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Nothing much. I've been listening to your show, and people's been giving their predictions, and I got a few minutes. I figured I'd call and give you mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've seen this season, this football team, they went down to Lexington, beat Kentucky, and God knows how long down there. They snapped the streak with A&M. I feel like we'll get Marshawn Lloyd back this week. And I don't think that offense that you seen last week was a fluke. I think it's finally starting to click. I mean, week after week, it looked like they were getting a little bit closer. I know they fell back against Florida, Missouri a little bit, but in the big games, they've always rose to the occasion this year. So my prediction for this week, I think Spencer Rattler throws for 4 touchdowns. I think Marshawn Lloyd busts for 150, gets 2 touchdowns. I think we blow them out. I just don't think. I think DJ will get benched in the second quarter, and the freshman quarterback, I don't even know his name. He'll get put in the third quarter, and I think we'll just run away with it. I don't think they've seen a defense like our cornerbacks, and I think we'll stop the run. I mean, just like I said, Chris Rodriguez, I mean, he's running over everybody, and I think it was his second game back this year when we played him, and we pretty much put him in his place. He got a little bit of yardage, but nothing like he does every week versus everybody else. So I think we blow them out something like 48-24. That's my prediction for the week.
I love that. Hey, I love it. Yeah, it's the quarterback advantage has got to make you feel good for sure. 38-24, man. From your lips to God's ears, let's make it happen, man. I love that prediction. I'd love for you to be right, my friend. I just think this is what we thought we were going to see all year from this offense. I think Juice might be probably one of the best in the SEC at the wide receiver position. I think Lloyd was tied for the most touchdowns as a running back before he got hurt. So, I mean, we've got the pieces. I think it's finally just starting to click, and people's been able to pass on Clemson. I mean, all year. I mean, the run's going to be a problem. I mean, they got top 10 recruits across the defensive line. So, I mean, of course, they're going to be able to stop the run. If they can't stop the run with those recruits, they need to fire every damn coach they got. But I think Rattler's just going to pick them apart. I think we got to have the same offensive plan as we had last week. I think Beamer said in his press conference they kind of had less schemes to kind of make it a little bit simpler. I think that's what you got to go back and do this week. Just that way you can rep it more in practice. But I think you finally see them bust loose. I think, like I said, we broke so many records of beating people that we hadn't beaten in a while, and I think we beat Clemson for the first time in 7 years, snapped a 40-game home win streak, and just put them in their place this year. Drop the freaking mic.
That's my prediction.
Nick, you're the man. I love
that. So I think, have a good day. Enjoy your show, man. Spurs up, man.
Hey, Spurs up. Appreciate you. What a call. What a prediction. What a call. Love that. Guys, hey, let's go ahead and jump into our first break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Wednesday, November the 23rd, 2022. Yes, Thanksgiving Eve, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Unless, of course, you're a Clemson fan, then you can go choke on a turkey leg. So, anyways, appreciate you all tuning in. Coach Ford says, the pick is in. Culture, 24. Agriculture, 20. I love that. I love that. I love that pick. I love that pick. Anyways, guys, we will have JC Sherbert on the show at 1:15. Really excited to chat with JC and get his thoughts on the win that was against Tennessee and obviously the game this weekend, of course. I think I had somebody ask me earlier, favorite memory from the Carolina-Clemson rivalry. I mean, going all the way back, man, watching the 06 game with my grandfather, that was the first ever win I ever saw over Clemson. Watching that with my grandfather was something I'll never forget. The 2013 game, it's hard to beat because I was actually in the stadium. You know, the Carolina Clemson games I've been to that I've attended in person are as follows. 2008, which was miserable. It was miserable. 2008, I was there. 2013, 2015, 2016, I was outside the stadium. I went to Clemson, but I wasn't in the stadium. 2000, let's see. 2019, I tried to go in, but Ticketmaster messed up, so I couldn't go in the game. Watched it at home. And yeah, that's it. So anyways, I've been to a couple. That 2013 game has got to be my favorite memory. It's got to be my favorite. That was my first season ever having season tickets and being there in person. My favorite sticker on my sticker board in my living room, it's losers with the O is the Clemson Paw. My favorite sticker I've ever gotten. That game was just a classic in itself. So I would say 13 was probably my favorite memory from the Carolina-Clemson rivalry for me personally. There's been other great ones, but that 13 game was epic. Anyways, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. The phone lines are open. Appreciate you all tuning in. John Edward, would you say one of the keys on Saturday is force DJ to beat us? Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I'll say this, John Edward. I think if South Carolina is able to slow down the Clemson running game, if this is a game that comes down to Spencer Rattler versus DJ Uiagalelei, South Carolina has the upper hand. I said it all summer. The Gamecocks, for the first time since 2013, they've got the better quarterback. It's not even debatable. South Carolina has the better gunslinger. So if it comes down to a battle of the gunslingers, I'm riding with South Carolina all the way. The big question is, will they be able to slow down Shipley enough to force Clemson into some third and longs, force Clemson into some obvious passing situations? If that happens, I like South Carolina's chances, and I like the matchup between Spencer Rattler and DJU. So, that'll be the key. That'll be the key, no doubt. I mean, you look at Clemson last year, DJ didn't even throw for 100 yards. He didn't even throw for 100 yards. So, I like your odds. I like your chances if you're able to do that. I really do. I really do. So, I see we've got Kevin Slapdick Applewhite in the chat. Appreciate you, Kevin Slapdick. Appreciate that. But yes, as a Clemson fan, he says, what a hell of a win over Tennessee. Indeed. Yeah, it was a hell of a win. Hell of a win. Memorable night for sure. Memorable night. So, yeah, it's interesting, right? We're in such a, it's like, what team's going to show up, right? What team is going to show up? We just don't know. We just don't know what team's going to show up. So, I saw Travie asking. Yes, Travie, we will have a show Friday. So, podcast drop this morning. No TDC tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving. Go enjoy yourself. Go Have time with your with your family, if you will, family, friends, what have you. Go watch some ball, go eat some turkey, go eat some stuffing, go eat some ham, whatever. Enjoy yourself, hang out. We'll be back at it on Friday right here, rocking and rolling. Maybe Friday we should do a bonus hour. What do you think? I don't know. I hadn't planned that, but why not? Maybe we should do a bonus hour, 12 to 3 instead. We could rock 12 to 3. I don't know. I'll let y'all know. It'll depend on some things, but maybe so. Maybe I'll surprise y'all with a bonus hour. Boogie Waves Gamecock says you owe us. Love that. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do that. No TDC tomorrow, so it's like we got to get it back, right? Somewhere, somehow, some way, we got to get it back. I'll let you guys know. But might happen. Let's see. Luke RJ says, do you have a response for the Clemson Tom video? Luke, I already actually put my response on Twitter, but it's just dude, I wasted 6.5 minutes of my life watching that video, Luke RJ. I'm not wasting a minute. I'm not wasting another minute or two hating a video. Here we go.
To accept.
Kevin Applewhite calling in on the airwaves. Kevin, I respect it. What's going on?
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Doing well. Just hanging out. So
y'all ready for that Clemson ass whooping?
We are ready for whatever shall take place, my friend. Whether we're ready or not, here we go.
Well, you know what I like as a Clemson fan, man. I know I talk a lot of shit on your page, but I'm respecting what Shane Beamer's doing for y'all's program. I really give that man that,
Yeah, winning cures all, right? So winning cures all.
Yep. Hell of a game against Tennessee. That shocked me.
It shocked me as well.
But yeah, I think that, Clemson can hold y'all's offense and y'all's receiver. I think we got a chance, but this what makes a rivalry. I want y'all to be good. So, I mean, I'm your number one fan on your page, but I'm not a South Carolina fan.
Yeah, I mean, they're without a doubt, and I know I've heard it from both sides, but there needs to be competitiveness return to the rivalry. It's not much of a rivalry when one team is beating the hell out of the other one. I mean, I look at I think Georgia Tech to me is probably the worst rivalry in the country. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's healthy for a rivalry when it goes back and forth, and it's up to Carolina to get their act together to make that happen.
Right. Well, I think the biggest rivalry is South Carolina and Clemson because, I mean, that's the biggest rivalry in college football. And you can look at all the numbers, the statistics, everything in the book. But when it comes down, it's whoever shows up who's to play, whoever wants it more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's the beauty of a rivalry, man. You throw record books and you throw you throw Vegas lines, you throw everything out the window, man. It's stands on its own merit, if you will. So
you do. Well, look, I want to make the odds interesting, man. Since I've been on your page for 2 years.
All right.
If South Carolina beats Clemson, and I'm on you live. If South Carolina beats Clemson, I'll wear a Gamecock jersey for one day. If Clemson beats South Carolina, you have to go on live with a Clemson T-shirt.
I got to be honest. That is not a bet I'm willing to make. I'm not doing that.
I mean, come on now. You got to have confidence in your team.
I'll let you know Friday whether I'll be going with that bet or not. I'll have an answer for you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, y'all have a happy Thanksgiving and just inbox me.
Yeah. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, my friend. I appreciate you calling in.
All right, Slapdick. Y'all take care.
Appreciate it, Slapdick. Love that. Hey, yeah, listen, beauty's in the banter, man. Beauty's in the banter. I actually respect the hell out of Kevin Applewhite calling in. I know he's giving people hell in the comments. He'll continue to give people hell in the comments, but I respect it. But nah, I don't see myself going through with that bet. I don't see it. So Let's see. Travis Allen says free merch if whoever predicts the exact score. I'm game with it. I mean, let's see, guys. We will be running, by the way, a Black Friday special, Black Friday sale. I'll drop the details on that later today. Probably just going to be like a 20% off, maybe 25. I don't know. Probably 20 though. Probably a 20% off sale up until end of day Friday. Courtney Washington said, "You're scared to bet." Well, Courtney, it's not that I'm scared to bet. You pick and choose who you make your bets with and what you make your bets on. Okay? So you don't just throw out random bets, right? You're very strategic with your bets. So just give me some time. Hey, I'm not someone that makes rash decisions, right, in the moment. So give me some time. Let me process, and we'll go from there. So. Austin Gregory. Thank you. I hit the nail on the head, my guy. Anyways, guys, phone lines open. Like I said, JC Sherbert is going to join us. JC Sherbert is going to join us at 1:15. Yeah, people were asking about the Drop Your Nuts. The Drop Your Nuts shirts. There have been other folks that have dropped the guys. And like I said, I mean, honestly, I've been so busy with the Beamer Ball stuff, with the towels, everything, the merch as a whole. I mean, I barely had time to come up for air. I will at some point. I mean, I can tell you guys this: when and if we beat Clemson, we are planning some victory gear for that. So, just stay tuned. But yeah, I think I'm all. There's already Drop Your Nuts tees out there, and that's also something too. Somebody made a really good point on social media, and if I did that, I would not want to do it without doing like an NIL deal with Cam Smith, because he's literally the one that said it. So, yeah. Let's see. Dylan Potter, did y'all see Beamer with the Find Some Joy hoodie? Yeah, they've had that. They've had that since the bowl game. So Bain says, if Clemson don't win by 21, I'll buy your lunch for a week wherever you'd like, Chris. I hear you. Like I said, I'll have a score prediction for Friday, guys. You know I will. I will lock it in. Hell, I keep it real. I keep it a buck. I picked the loss last year, and I picked the win over the summer, and I didn't just do that to get some clicks or get some views. Like, I genuinely thought. Here's the thing. I thought that South Carolina would look the way they looked against Tennessee. Maybe not scoring 63 a game, but I thought that Carolina would look that way offensively. Dynamic, explosive, exciting. That's what I thought we would see. And so, again, it's just, I guess what's tough is, like, when you make a prediction for this game, you have to decide, okay, which South Carolina team am I predicting I will see on Saturday, right? Is it going to be the one that just exploded against Tennessee, or is it going to be the one we've seen basically all season? I guess that's what's scary. Is it like, are you going to go off of one game sample size or 10 prior game sample size? So like I said, I'll let you all know. But, yeah. Braddock 843, I think my dad got some merch from you. I believe there's a mix-up with the address. Yeah, just tell him to shoot me an email, thespursupshow@gmail.com. thespursupshow@gmail.com. We got a text here. Let's see. Let's jump to the text. It says, something that worries me about Sat's presser today after the game, the Tennessee game, I could tell you 1,000 things we could have done different. No, sir. Apparently Sat said that. He said we should put our DBs out on an island and stop the run. I think a similar defensive game plan to this past weekend would be the way to go. 27-24 Gamecocks. 31 is the magic number. Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you score 30, you will win. No doubt. You score 30, you're going to win. So, For sure. Guys, again, phone lines are open. If you do want to call in, we're in hour number 2. We're in hour number 2 here on this Wednesday, hump day, November the 23rd, 2022. Appreciate y'all the love and support. Again, it's been crazy with merch, man. I've packaged more towels than probably is healthy. It's wild, man. So, I say that it's a blessing. It's a blessing, truly. Thank y'all so much, man. It's everybody. I really hope to see the Beamer Ball towels being rocked in the Upstate, being rocked at the game. I hope Clemson fans, Clem Sucks fans, get sick of hearing Beamer Ball. I hope they get sick of hearing it. So, let's see. My guy Coleman Hall's tuning. He said, "I think the noise finally got to Sat. Seems like he suddenly got the memo of simplify and throw it on the field. Not here we go. We'll jump to the phone lines. Will, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good, bro. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Just wanted to call, man. I hadn't talked to you this week ever since the crazy win that we had. Just wanted to formally apologize to the Gamecocks for doubting them because I openly doubted them and laughed at everything that said that we had a chance, and I was wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong again this week because, unfortunately, the Gamecock inside of me just tends to believe that every time we have ever had a historic performance in our history, it's followed by one that's not so historic. So hopefully this week that doesn't happen. I just love to see a competitive game, if nothing else. And if we can just see if half that team gets off the bus, we got a chance.
Yeah.
They got off the bus last week. You know what I mean? And it was encouraging. But I want to say this. Last week was a dream. That was probably one of the greatest games I've ever watched as a Gamecock as far as, fun to watch and just blowing a number 5 team out of the water like that. But if Satterfield shits the bed this week, to me, his job is not safe. And I'm not here to be negative. I would love nothing more for us to look like that again and win. And that would be a magical. Could you imagine beating Tennessee and Clemson the last 2 games of the year? Like, who would have thought that would happen? That would be magic. But if we lay 6 points on the road, I feel like we're still in the same position because if your girlfriend cheats on you 20 times and is loyal one night, do you consider her a loyal girl?
Right.
No. So, you know what I mean? Like, the proof's in the pudding, and if they can do that, they can somewhat replicate. It doesn't have to be the same, but if we could just look competitive and score, but if we lay an egg, then, does everybody still feel the same as they did this week? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Listen, I'm open to a Marcus Satterfield, winning his job back or earning his job back. But I agree with you. Unfortunately, if you go out there and you have a porous game offensively, it's the way that I'll look at it is, okay, we went 7-5 and the Tennessee game offensively was a one-off. It was a magical night. It was Spencer Rattler's talent overcame any shortcomings potentially in the scheme and the system in Marcus Satterfield, what have you. Right. So, no, I'd agree with you, man. If you go back to, if you revert back to what you were before Tennessee in the Clemson game, I still think for sure it's we need to move on from Sat because it'll even show more that like the talent's there, like the playmakers are there.
Right.
There's just some sort of disconnect. So, and then I guess it kind of goes back to too. Do you really believe that Marcus Satterfield called every single play against Tennessee? Do you believe it was all him? That's a conversation for another day. But it's
I honestly do that.
You do? Okay.
The plays looked a lot like the same.
Yeah.
It was just executed better. But I just feel like, as Gamecock fans, we're all gun shy to be happy almost.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like you don't want to overextend yourself with happiness because sadness is around the corner. But if we could beat Clemson, dude, we already had a good season, 7-5. That's one better than last year with a possibility of 8. I'm not going to be mad either way. But as far as Marcus's job goes, if we don't do good offensively this week, I think his head's still on the chopping block.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah, and I'll say this and make this point that, Gamecock fans, let's make it very clear. We don't hate Marcus Satterfield. We just hate bad offense. I just hate bad offense.
Absolutely.
It's not like some personal vendetta. It's just I hate not scoring points. So, like, I don't care if Sat's on staff. I really don't. But we need to be better offensively. So, it's
yep.
Bottom
And
line.
unfortunately for the people taking over, the Gamecock fans have kind of had many years of lack of offense. So it's almost like we're a beaten, battered woman in a relationship with another guy that's abusive. It's like, dude, we can't. I'm not taking but one or two more hits. You know what I mean? Like we've been through this before.
Stop
so
punching yourself. Stop punching yourself. Stop punching yourself. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, bro, I'll hang up and talk later, bro. Hopefully, I'll call in next week and it'll be ending that 40 streak up in Death Valley, bro.
We need that Monday TDC, bro. I just can't even imagine. We need that.
I can't either, bro. I mean, I don't even smoke cigars, and I'll be smoking one, bro. I'll have to burn one for that. But anyway, all right, brother. Have a good one, man.
Will, you're the man. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Awesome stuff from Will. I thought what he said was interesting, right? Like we're scared as Gamecock fans to be overly happy, right? I mean, it's a great point. It's and I'm not trying to be doom and gloom or anything, but he makes a great point. He makes a great point for sure. So we will see. Maybe and if this team, what makes this matchup so interesting, you just shocked the world, right? You just shocked the world against Tennessee. You defied all odds. Well, for the second straight week, you got to do it again because there are so many trends that go in favor of Clem Sucks winning the game, right? 40 straight wins at home. They've beaten you 7 in a row, and the games, for the most part, haven't even been remotely close. You're 7-0 at night, 0-4 in the day, right? I mean, like, there are trends, the whole factor of can South Carolina put back-to-back good performances together? Can the Gamecocks follow up what they did against Tennessee? There's a lot of negative trends going into this one, but as we've seen this year, that has not mattered. Kentucky, there were negative trends. Texas A&M, there were negative trends. Hey, guess what? Tennessee, there were negative trends. And this team still found a way to overcome. Will they be able to do it again? What a monumental victory it would be. Guys, that being said, let's jump into a break before we get JC Sherbert on the show on the other side. JC, all his thoughts on Tennessee, the game this weekend, and much more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Wednesday, November the 23rd, 2022. It is Thanksgiving Eve, and of course, it is Rivalry Week. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much for the continued love and support. Now, normally, we have him on Thursday, but of course, I want to say thank you to JC Sherbert bringing me on Inside the Gamecocks this morning with no TDC tomorrow. Of course, we had to get him in. JC Sherbert of Inside the Gamecocks of the Big Spur. JC, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
Hey, great to be with you doing this Thursday is Wednesday thing this week, and it's actually feels more like Friday because I'm about to throw down, man. So I'm fired up. I love this weekend of football, just Thanksgiving and spending time with family, and then the rivalries this weekend are always nostalgic, and looking forward to a great weekend of football and having a little downtime.
So, JC, before we get going, I got to ask you a question that's going to divide even anyone. Is it dressing or is it stuffing?
I'm a dressing guy because in the South, I guess it's dressing. And, you know, my fiance's from Chicago. She's originally from Thailand, so she's actually more of a dressing person as well. We don't have her kids for Thanksgiving tomorrow, so we're not doing a turkey, so we're doing Cornish game hens, and that requires stuffing. So I'm kind of like I'm a dressing guy, but I'm gonna go with the stuffing this time around.
Okay, fair enough. You know, it's really a conversation that doesn't bother me either way. Like I don't care what you call it, but
I like all of it, man.
Hey, hot take. I think whether you call it stuffing or dressing, I call it overrated. Personally, I think it's overrated.
That's bold.
Like it's there are other items I look forward to much more than the stuffing, dressing, whatever the hell you want to call it. Either way, let's talk ball though. I mean, JC, we sit here on this Wednesday, man. Shocking results over the weekend. You and I basically pronounced the Gamecocks as dead going into the game, and I mean this football team just stunned everyone, and certainly led by the offense. I mean, you score 63 points, 9 touchdowns. Spencer Rattler throws more touchdowns against Tennessee than he had the entire month of October. But I feel like while we were all shocked, stunned, we felt like this was a group that was capable of what they did. You at least felt like, I'm not surprised that playmaker made that play. I'm not surprised Spencer Rattler made that throw. You kind of felt like they always had it in them, but obviously it all clicked on Saturday night. Just what you saw, man, from what was a magical night at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Well, I've said all year I thought the offense had talent and good skill talent and enough playmakers to have a good offense. You know, I've my gripes with the offense have been operational, I guess, in nature. And I've made that known. And, you know, I think what they did was they cleaned it up. You know, Spencer Rattler said it, limited the personnel groupings. They didn't substitute as much. They operated at a brisker tempo, although they didn't go too fast because Carolina had a 17-minute time of possession advantage in the game. I think you can go too fast sometimes when you play a team like Tennessee, and it kind of plays in their hands. But they didn't. There was nothing really like sluggish, I guess, about the operational aspects of the offense. And then Spencer Rattler was just on fire. I mean, he showed why everybody's been high on him, and he was one of the top quarterback recruits in the country. He seemed comfortable from the get-go. The very first pass of the game to Kenyon was beautiful. I mean, my gosh, you know, right there, and threw it to where only he could get it. And he was just in the zone, and the rest of the players fed off that. Juice Wells had a monster game. You know, Josh Vann catches a long touchdown. You know, Jalen Brooks had another bunch of big. Amari and Brown had a big run on a reverse. Juju McDowell caught it. I mean, everybody, you name it, they got their playmakers involved. And I think that's, you know, how this offense needs to operate moving forward, and probably how it should have been done all year. You can't go back and change anything. But moving forward, this last game and the bowl game, you know, I think this is the right approach to take, because I think that, you know, when you shrink things down and you execute what you're good at, and then you use little window dressing, formational stuff, whatever you want to call it, to kind of throw the defense off. I think those are kind of how most of the successful offenses in college football to run, regardless of if you go fast, slower, pro style, spread, whatever you want to call it. I think that, getting good at what you do and then doing it and then throwing the other opponent off with a little wrinkles, it was a smart move. And they did that. And the defense, I thought, battled the entire game. 500 yards, 38 points, whatever. I mean, that's just playing Tennessee.
Right.
And frankly, Carolina's offense was scoring, and they could give them the ball back because they were scoring. And so Tennessee ran a lot of plays, and it didn't hurt the Gamecocks. They sort of beat Tennessee at their own game. So, and I think, Chris, it's also finally time to start talking maybe about Williams-Brice Stadium at night under Shane Beamer. I mean, this has been, there have been some magical moments. I mean, I don't know, and the light show now is kind of a spectacle unto itself. And they didn't lose a game at home at night this year. Yeah. And I think there's something to be said for that. I don't know that you start saying this is LSU East, because LSU obviously historically is a different team at night than during the day at home in their stadium. But, I think there's something to be said now for the success that's happened. Under Will Muschamp, if you remember, Carolina actually played better with noon kickoffs and things like that. My theory on that is maybe they're a little tired. Maybe they got too tense thinking about the game all day. I don't really know why that was under Will, but Beamer's kind of reversed that. The Gamecocks are almost like vampires. They don't they tend to play better when the sun goes down. But obviously, all phases of this program were clicking. Yeah. From the culture to the fans to what's great about Carolina football last Saturday night. And, it's something that won't be forgotten for a long time.
Yeah. It's just crazy, JC. What a different conversation we're having this week versus last. And I mean, you're right, man. Again, being there in that atmosphere, it was it was something that I'll carry with me forever. And it was electric from start to finish. Truly a sellout. I know some people had doubted that. Truly a sellout. That place was packed out, was loud all night. And you mentioned this team being vampires, 7-0 at night, 0-4 on the road. I think I tweeted this. I don't know if it was Saturday or maybe the week prior. I was like, have we ever considered this team as allergic to the sun? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that is something. But you mentioned the offense, JC, and what stands out from what you're saying. Like, to me, watching that game on Saturday for the first time this season, we looked fast. Like, we looked really fast. Like, and I think it's just because when you're getting the ball to your playmakers, like a guy like Amarian Brown, like that dude has world-class speed, but you haven't really seen it on display, but we looked fast. We looked free. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of thinking back there, like, especially Spencer Rattler. Like, it didn't feel like he was processing a whole lot, right? It was just get it, boom, let's get it to my playmaker, give him a chance. And fortunately for the Gamecocks, most of the time we were the ones making the play.
Yeah, and get it out to your playmakers and go, and make them defend the entire field. And I said that after the Vandy game. I thought Carolina did a good job of making Vandy defend the entire field. I thought Florida was much more condensed and just a mess, as far as some of the tighter formations and the 20 different personnel groups running in and out and stuff like that. And they stripped all that away. And they just said, okay, we're just going to go out here and ball, like Marcus Satterfield said. And, man, I think, like I said, the college offenses these days, operate at their best when they could just go ball. I mean, there's really, some of the better off. I mean, like Josh Heupel's offense at Tennessee, it's nothing complicated. It just looks complicated, right? And so I thought that, going out there, getting in a rhythm, operating at a brisker tempo, not getting bogged down, that type of thing, was really, really important. And then just the momentum. I mean, Tennessee's a momentum team, similar to Clemson, but in a different type of way. They counterpunched, Chris, if you think about it. Carolina marches down the field, gets a touchdown. Everybody's excited. Tennessee scores in 3 plays.
Oh yeah.
And it was like boom, but then Carolina came back and counterpunched, and then they counterpunched again, and they kept punching and kept swinging. And I think, that's a way to beat a momentum team is you just never let them really feel comfortable with that momentum. And I think Carolina did a masterful job of that. I kind of felt good about the game at halftime because I was like, Tennessee's just not stopping Carolina. This is not a great Tennessee defense. They've kind of got their number. But really, after it got cut to 35-31, you kind of had some anxious moments, but Carolina marches right back down the field and scores. They counterpunched. And I think that's the way you beat a momentum team like that is you don't let them ever seize it. And then you establish it. You take the fight to them. And I think Carolina did a great job of that.
Yeah, and I just, JC, I know we talked about this morning, but I loved the mentality, that aggressor mentality, that drop your nuts mentality that Cam Smith talked about. And I thought the tone was set, man, in that first drive. 4th and 1, you're going to go for it. You get some illegal snap penalty or something. Then 4th and 6, you don't even budge. You still go for it. You get it. Then you score the It was just like from there, it was obvious to me that Carolina was said, you know what? We know we're huge underdogs. We're just going to let it all hang out. We're not going to leave anything, we're going to empty the clip, if you will, and throw everything we got at them. And so I thought that was really beneficial. I know you talked this morning that you advise, or you think it's smart for Carolina to have that same mentality going in this weekend moving forward. And I just wonder, and I know the question comes back to why did it take 11 games for that to be incorporated? But I just loved that attacking nature with which the Gamecocks played with on Saturday night.
Yeah, and that's Shane Beamer, man. I mean, I wrote about this last week heading into the Tennessee game. If Beamer Ball 2.0 really wants to take off, you've got an opportunistic defense that forces turnovers, that plays aggressive. Clayton White will send pressure and use exotic fronts, and his kids like playing in that system. I mean, you've heard them talk about it publicly, like, wow, we love this defense. And kind of what he did is it's a lot of the same concepts Muschamp used, but it's more of a college defense. It's easier to learn. And we could talk all day about the Saban defense and how complicated it, whatever. But, then you got limbo with the special teams and special teams only had to do like one punt, right? I guess they kicked off a bunch and Mitch Jeter scored 9 points and did not make a field goal, which was weird. But the special teams had a quiet night because they didn't have to do anything. And, then there's been the offense, and the offense is has not been an attacking style of offense unless they're able to just line up and run it all over somebody. Well, Saturday night they attacked, and I think that's kind of what Shane Beamer had in mind when he kind of set the standards for this program. He's not a guy that wants to sit back and run, a bunch of 22 personnel or 13 personnel and grind it out for a win. That's not even what they did at Virginia Tech. I mean, and even at Georgia, his couple of years, sure they ran the ball, but it was a different. They scored a lot of points at times. So, especially against Oklahoma. So I think this is what he had in mind. And I think this program cannot afford to not be aggressive in all three phases. You're in the SEC. I think you can get enough talent here to compete with just about anybody on the schedule. But you have to have edge in other aspects of it because you're not – realistically going to sit there and out recruit everybody in the league like Alabama does. You're going to have to sit there, and even Alabama has to be aggressive, right? So I think in this league, you have to have some kind of edge. And it was apparent that they kind of installed that in two of the three phases. And then the third phase obviously came on in a big way on Saturday night.
JC, before we get off of Tennessee, I got to ask you, how many times this week do you think you've been asked who was calling the plays on Saturday?
Quite a bit. I'm kind of staying out of that because there's about some conflicting info out there. But here's what I know about that. And I'll just kind of say what I think is the truth. I think it wasn't so much ever about like the play calling. It was what they were carrying into games. It was too much for a college football team, right? And I think it can even confuse coaches in game when you're trying to make quick decisions of what to call, how to call it, that kind of thing. I also think when you substitute and, Rattler told Tim Tebow before the game Saturday that against Florida, Carolina had like 20 different personnel packages. They ran in and out. I think, quite frankly, in the game today, that gives a gift to opposing defensive coordinators because they can just sit there and dissect you. And they're used to going against all these offenses that go 90 miles an hour. They're scrambling and they're like, man, wait a minute. Well, these guys are, okay, well, let's match them and sub here and sub there. You can achieve different formations and you can achieve what you want to achieve with the personnel groupings, Chris, just with the personnel you've got. Carolina's blessed with versatile guys that can do a lot of different things. And I've been preaching that this year, and they finally did it. They ran many of the same plays over and over, but they would put a little wrinkle here. Sometimes Atkins would be in the backfield. Sometimes he'd be kind of at a wing. Sometimes they'd use motion. Sometimes they wouldn't. But it was the same kind of plays. And good offenses have done that. Steve Spurrier, that's what he did. You'd look out every game and you would think Steve Spurrier drew up 20 new ball plays during the week because it would look different. But if you look at that's kind of the skin. If you look at the guts of the play, it's the same thing. He just, threw sometimes he'd use two tight ends. Sometimes, in the Georgia game in 2012, for example, the pass to Rory Anderson, Busta Anderson, kind of on the, I think it was the first touchdown of the ball game, or maybe the second. That they run that, Carolina ran that play under Steve Spurrier 25 different times. But it, sometimes it was a receiver that did it. Sometimes it was a tight end that did it. Sometimes it was this. Sometimes it was that. It was very similar to the pass Garcia threw to, or the play that Garcia ran when he threw it to Alshon in the Clemson game in 2010. I call it the twirl play because Alshon kind of twirled around and scored or got a big game. But those two plays, if we just looked at them, we'd say that's two different plays, but it's not. It's out of the different formations, and that's easier on your kids, I think, to learn. I think it's easier for them to go execute because they're not falling for the eye candy. The defense is, and I think it makes it harder to stop because you're running things that you're really good at running, but the other team doesn't necessarily dissect it as easy. So I think those were all keys. And that's what happened. Sack called it, but they stripped it back. And I think that actually made probably him more comfortable, quite frankly, to get in the flow of the game as well.
JC, Carolina, Clemson, enough said. This is a huge week. The rivalry matchup, Gamecocks looking to snap an ugly streak. Before we dive into this game, I'll ask you, obviously, again, you've been around this program for quite a long time, been covering them for a while. Your favorite memory or two from the Carolina-Clemson rivalry? Anything specifically for you stand out?
I've got a lot, man, because it's been, gosh, I guess, my whole life I've lived this game, but 94 stands out because that was it's Brad Scott's first year. Carolina needed the win to get bowl eligible. I went with my buddy who's like, it's kind of crazy. I grew up in the upstate, but really don't, and this isn't intentional. Okay. I didn't set out to do this. It just so happened my entire circle of friends were Carolina people. I was friends with one Clemson guy that ended up going to Clemson, and we remain friends to this day, but he loves to rub my nose in it. He sent me a long text after last year's game. I was like, oh my God, man, I hadn't heard from him in months. And, it kind of pissed me off a little bit because I was like, man, I hadn't heard from you in a while. And it wasn't just a nice, we beat you guys again. Ha ha. It was like, you guys are a bunch of losers, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, whoa. But anyway, so we went to the game, we were in high school and we went over there, and it was just managed to score really good tickets in the lower deck. And I was there for the Brandon Bennett throwback, and Reggie Richardson takes it down, and Carolina just beat the tar out of them 33-7. And so I got to rub it in his nose really good. The push-off game in 2000 has a lot of great memories for me just because I went with a bunch of friends, and as disappointing as that loss was, and as much as it gripes everybody to this day, I still remember looking over at my friend. It was kind of snowing in the upper deck at Death Valley. I was a student at Carolina at the time, and my buddy was over there, and people were crying and stuff. And he looked up and goes, "That's the best game I've ever seen." And at the time it probably was. And so we found some joy out of that in the darkness. And then, probably the other one that stands out to me is 2009. just because it was kind of one of those here we go again games when Spiller takes the opening kickoff back after the second time. And I remember that's the first day I heard the Patrick Davis song, Big Old Cock. It's kind of funny. The first time I heard that song, South Carolina goes on a 5-game win streak in the rivalry series. But Eric Norwood was huge in that game. Stephon Gilmore, they used that package. Garcia was really good. Wesley Saunders had a touchdown. Carolina really, they couldn't be stopped. They weren't going to be denied that day. And I think at that point, had Spurrier lost that game, he goes to 1-4 against Clemson, and you're just kind of sitting there going, man, is this thing ever going to take off? That win, I think, despite the Pizza Bowl later that they screwed around in, that win, I think, kind of set the tone for the big run, because it kind of said, well, look, you beat these guys. Steve Spurrier is an excellent coach, and Lattimore comes in, et cetera, et cetera. So those are probably the three that stand out. But I mean, I've been to, I used to go every year. Hadn't been in, 2015. No, I went in 2017. It hadn't been since 2017, but I used to, if I'm within driving distance or whatever, I usually make a point to go just because I love the rivalry. It's what I grew up with. And, certainly, a lot of memories there, just, all across the board.
Well, JC, this is a rivalry that has been full of streaks for sure. And right now, Clemson on a 7-game winning streak, winning the last 7 contests, obviously. And it's unfortunate Shane Beamer because he's only lost 1, but that is the streak right now. I think, JC, going in this when we were all flying high, tons of confidence after the Tennessee game. But I think one of the biggest storylines in this one is, we talked over the summer about this is a big game for Shane Beamer, even in the sense of, and again, I am certainly not sitting here preaching any sort of moral victories. I'm not doing that. But when you're able to kind of take a step back, JC, wouldn't you agree? I mean, at minimum, it's really important for this South Carolina program to return some sense of competitiveness back to the rivalry. I mean, the games have not even been remotely close, right? And last year, I mean, a lot of folks are picking the Gamecocks to win, sort of similar situation. We're riding high after Auburn, and you don't just get beat, you get beat 30-0. So, I mean, just talk about that, because, again, I look at this, and obviously it'd be huge to win this game, but at minimum, I think South Carolina has got to use this as the start of getting some competitiveness back into this rivalry.
Absolutely. I mean, it's basically since 2015, it's been competitive for like one half. And that was, of course, the 56-35 game where, I think Carolina knew that night they were undermanned on defense quite a bit, and that they were going to have to score every play to stay in it. And daggone it, or every drive, not every play, that would be dumb, every drive. And they almost did. I mean, Jake, they misfired on a couple passes in the red zone on 4th down, but they were close, and or it would have been a touchdown game in the 4th quarter. But other than that, though, I feel like I've watched the same game over and over. 2017, 2016, Carolina had no chance against that team because a bunch of freshmen out there, Muschamp's first year. You had the brilliant the guy in the yellow hat. Jake had to run over to the sidelines because they're trying to kind of slow it down or whatever. That didn't work. So they had no chance in that one. But, 2017, Carolina's an 8-win team. Clemson had dropped a game to Syracuse and all that. They were kind of hitting their stride, but Carolina's defense just went out there and did not play well. 2019, there was no shot in that game. 2020, they didn't play. And then last year was disappointing because South Carolina's defense, although they did struggle against the run at times, you didn't look at Clemson coming into that game offensively and go, man, Carolina's really got to play well against the run. You sort of thought, well, the Carolina defense matches up. The offense is a complete mismatch, and it was even more so than we thought. But maybe, you get a turnover, you have a good night on defense and hold Clemson back. Like a lot of their games last year were, they beat Georgia Tech, 14-8. And maybe you have a shot at the end, right? I thought it would go similarly to and I picked Carolina to win too, because I didn't know when I'd get another chance to do that. I thought it'd be similar to like Clemson's Cheez-It Bowl win over Iowa State, where, it was 20-13. Clemson kind of had the game in hand, but it was close, and Iowa State played pretty good defense, and that kind of deal. But it wasn't. It was the same game that we saw under Will Muschamp in 2017 and 2019, and it was just unfortunate because with South Carolina, it looked like they were intimidated, and they just didn't play that well. And giving up that many rushing yards in your own house, I think that was a season high rushing yards the Gamecocks gave up to an offense that, frankly, wasn't ranked very high, hadn't done very well all year, except against Wake Forest, who they always seem to do well against. Yeah. You kind of – it was disheartening. People ask me what was the worst performance of 2021 or the most disappointing loss. And I usually lean toward that Missouri loss, but I've said there are some aspects of the Clemson loss, not that Carolina lost, but how they played at home. Everybody's feeling good. You just got bowl eligible, year one of Beamer. You just beaten Auburn. Jason Brown was kind of, hey, Jason Brown could lead them to victory. And then they just fell flat on their face. So, and I think Beamer realizes that this year. I think some of his comments this week kind of lead me to believe that there's been a major emphasis on refocusing for this football game. And I think that'll help.
Yeah, I think so too, JC. When he talks about, we're not tweeting about Tennessee anymore. We've gotten all our videos out of the way. Like we're focused on the task at hand. Now let's talk the challenge that Clemson presents offensively. JC, and you mention it. And correct me if I'm wrong, the matchup feels pretty similar to last year in the sense that I expect Clemson to lean on Shipley and Maffa, the rushing attack. I know DJ Hughes had his moments, but he's not really a guy that I look at that scares me that he's going to break out and throw for 300. Obviously, Anthony Williams on the outside is going to be a fun match to watch due to the recruiting story, if you will, with him and Justin Stepp and the Gamecocks. And I know they love to use the tight end as well, right? They're really effective in that. But fair or unfair, I kind of look at this as like South Carolina. If they can slow down the run game, there's going to be the opportunity, I think, to have a lot of success.
I mean, yeah, DJ threw for 99 yards last year. Cam Smith picked him off. They took a shot early, and that didn't pan out too well for the Tigers. But Clemson's evolved through the years, and one of the things, take the rivalry out of it that I admire Dabo for doing is how he's built it is. They used to be kind of this team that, before they got on the national scene, they could outscore you. They could put up points, struggled with better defenses, weren't all that great on defense themselves, but they built toward it, right? And then you had the Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence years where they were just they were really good on both sides, right? And they could outscore you. They could, shut you out. I mean, there are a lot of ugly games, a lot of blowouts there. But, when he doesn't have a Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson, what they do a really good job of is they kind of get you in a death grip because they're a defensive-minded, run-oriented football team that kind of knows how to win, but they do enough other stuff to where you have to kind of take note of it. And, they're like Tennessee in the sense they are a momentum team as well. If you look at the game they lost this year to Notre Dame, they never got the momentum. Notre Dame had it from start to finish. If you look at the Syracuse game, man, Syracuse had momentum 3/4 of that game, and Clemson just, boom, turns it on and comes back. They're both sides of the ball for them complement each other so well, and they feed off of each other. And it makes them difficult to beat when you have a team that runs it and that can play defense and can keep you off the field and get you off the field quickly. That says something about them. So, for Carolina, I think it's going to be, keep attacking on the field and honestly, stop the run. Like you said, I think they're absolutely spot on. Nothing against the Clemson receivers. I think they're good, but I think Carolina secondary matches up quite well. And I think you can get pressure on DJ and force him into some mistakes. And that's kind of what the bread and butter of this defense under Clayton White. So, for goodness sake, don't let Maffa and Shipley and DJ just run all over you on Saturday. Do something. Do something about it. And I think if they do, Carolina can have a successful day on defense.
As Lou Holtz used to say, shut up and hit somebody. That's it.
Yeah, shut up and hit somebody.
JC, on the offensive note, again, short, sweet, and to the point, like you mentioned, man, attack, attack, attack. More of what we saw against Tennessee. Play free, play loose, and let them hang, man. Play with nothing to lose. I mean, I think we talked this morning, just playing aggressive, being the aggressor, and I would expect to see Carolina yet again go for it on fourth down. Like, again, play with that nothing to lose mentality. Get your playmakers the football. Don't ask Spencer Rattler to think a whole lot. Not saying that, he's a very intelligent quarterback, but let him just go play, right? You can do all the thinking in practice this week. Once you hit that field, hey, it's time to let your talent shine. The front seven for Clemson is obviously elite, but what do you see from their secondary, and where do you see matchups where Carolina can exploit them?
They miss Andrew Booth a little bit off last year's team back there. I think they're talented. They've recruited well. They've got players. I think they got very active safeties. Their linebackers are almost scary. I mean, Trenton Simpson and they just moved him to the Sam, I think is what it's called. It's some kind of inside position instead of outside. And that's paid off pretty well for him. They can all run, they'll hit you, that kind of thing. It's not just their line, it's their linebackers as well. But, if this defense at Clemson, which has been good for a long time, if they do have kind of a bugaboo, the Notre Dame game this year notwithstanding, that shot probably has a top 5 offensive line, in the country. With the Notre Dame game notwithstanding, they're susceptible to giving up big plays in the pass game, just like Tennessee. It's a lot bigger challenge to kind of back them off, but because they are so good. But they, I've never seen a team, again, with the exception of Notre Dame, they only threw it 17 times, but they were 60-mile-an-hour winds, et cetera, and the Leprechauns and all that, right? I haven't seen a team very often just line up and run it all over the Tigers. That you have to have a passing game to keep them honest, to back
104 rush yards per game they're allowing, so they've been good.
Yeah,
they've been good against.
So they're not. You're realistically, if you can get to 125 rushing yards, I think against these guys, you've had a good day. They're susceptible though to and quite frankly, as talented as I think their secondary is, and I do think they got some good players back there. South Carolina's receivers are pretty daggum talented as well. So I think, you got talent on talent, may the best man win. And, with Rattler throwing the ball, if he's still on, I kind of like the Gamecocks' chances there.
And maybe this is a week, JC, where Beamer ball shows itself. It'd be a great week to get it. It'd be a great week to get it, just like back in 2010 when you got it. And some other games. JC, I'll ask you this too. Do you feel like weather could play a factor in this game? I'm seeing a lot of comments from our folks. It looks like there's chance of showers. Does that impact your thinking on this game? And I guess that leads me into, I know it's a day early, but are you ready to make a prediction? Or again, if you're not, you're feeling on the game going into it?
I'll give you one game a year, Chris. I just don't pick it. We have this thing on 24/7 Sports called Crystal Ball. There's one recruit a year. I'm not going to even bother with it. I'm superstitious like that. But that's just one thing, so I do say scenarios. I think South Carolina, if they come out and have the same plan of attack against Clemson and Tennessee and they lose, you're not going to hear me say anything bad about the offensive play call and coordinator or anything. That just means, hey, you live by the sword, die by the sword. And I can take that a whole lot better than reverting back to what we saw, against Missouri or whoever. I think if South Carolina can get the pass game going, mix it up, make them defend the entire field, stay balanced, stay resilient, because Clemson's going to make big plays and you just counter punch like you did. It could be a fourth quarter game. South Carolina can win. You just never know. Clemson's a hard team to sort of figure out because and this is not their fault. This is something Carolina fans pick on Clemson people about all the time. It's not their fault who they play, right? They have to play who they have to play. They're I'm sure that when all that stuff was happening with the Big Ten over the summer or whatever, I'm sure if the Big Ten or SEC and they were legally able to do so, Clemson would probably join another league. It's not their fault. But, dude, they have not played Notre Dame's the best team they've played. And that's not the best Notre Dame team ever. And they lost by 21. I mean, some of these teams like NC State and Syracuse and all that, they've been ranked this year. Louisville is in the top 25 for some reason, but it's a function of the ACC schedule. Those Louisville would not last a week in the SEC. I mean, and so Clemson, it's that's a factor you think about as well. You're like, this Carolina may very well be the best team Clemson's faced. So, that's a factor. You mentioned the rain. I think it favors the passing games of both teams. And I'm borrowing from Steve Spurrier here because he would always say, well, shoot, the rain, that's fine because we know where our guys are going and the defensive backs don't. Wind to wind. He hated the wind, though, because the wind would blow the ball all over the field. I just don't want it to be windy, So I think it favors the passing game and maybe the offenses a little bit. But I'll tell you this, too. You mentioned Beamer ball. There's always that chance on a punt, especially if you're back there thinking about, God, these guys have blocked a punt. The other team that leads the nation in block punts is Notre Dame. They blocked a punt against Clemson. They're sitting there thinking about it. And when the ball's wet and it's sloppy, you can have some things go askew. So I think it favors the Beamer ball aspect of the Gamecocks if it does rain hard as well. So I think that's a scenario. I think the other scenario is if the defense does not get better against the run and stop it, and Shipley goes off and Moffitt goes off and can't stop DJ and the offense doesn't go very far, it could be a long day. It could be another long day, and we may watch the same game we've watched the last 7-8 years. So those are the two scenarios I have for the ball game. But let's just say that I'm anticipating a competitive football game Saturday.
JC, I appreciate you being gracious with your time, my friend. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. Last thing I promise before I get you out of here, the win over Tennessee, that game being on ESPN, nationally televised, sold-out crowd. What can you tell us about the recruiting impact of that ball game? Because I'm sure it was massive.
Oh, it was. They had a lot of their top commits. And see, when you go through a season, Chris, and maybe you have some turmoil, some ugly losses, it's not often that you start losing guys decommit, or flip or whatever. It has to get really bad. But there's always that concern. So you want to make sure guys like Desmond Yu, the 4-star DN from up in the DC area, or Big Tree Babalade or Marquis Anderson, or some of those guys that highly guys, you make sure they start looking around. So they had them in. It was a big weekend, had all of them in. They all had a great time. And they had a plan for if things got out of hand. You kind of take them up to the zone and feed them. And, hey, don't look at the game. Look here, But, boy, most of them went on the field. Some of them went in the locker room after the game. They all had a blast. It could not have gone any better for recruiting in terms of who's there. But also you think about that primetime ESPN spot. You think about Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler. You think about the blimp and the aerial shots and the rock concert style. I mean, dude, it's like I was just looking at a picture of the stadium or watching a video of the post game, and it was almost like Sandstorm was still like reverberating in the stadium, and they weren't even playing it. And I was like, wow, that's just weird and trippy, and I kind of dig it, right? But the kids saw that, and they see that, and they're like, man, this would probably be a cool place to play. And I'm sure that offensive skill players that have been interested in South Carolina that maybe have been less than impressed and thinking, if I go there, I'm going to catch 20 balls. Luckily, maybe they saw kind of, what the plan is moving forward and schematically and all that stuff that goes into recruiting decisions for skill talent. Maybe they saw that, hey, this can be a fun place to go play offensive football.
JC Sherbert, Inside the Gamecocks, the Vicksburg. JC, again, thank you so much for being flexible with your schedule. So happy we were able to get you on this week with Thanksgiving tomorrow. And happy Thanksgiving, my friend, to you and yours. And excited for what the weekend holds for us, my friend. Appreciate you. We'll do it again next week, my man.
Absolutely, Chris. Happy Thanksgiving to you and all your audience out there. And hopefully we're talking about a victory and where they're going to go bowling next week.
Absolutely. JC, I appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
Take care, bud.
Great stuff from JC Sherbert, guys. We will roll into the end of the show. No break. Let me open up the phone lines. Always a pleasure, man, talking with JC. JC's such a legend, great at what he does. No pick from JC for the game. No pick, but I respect it, right? I respect that. Let's see. I respect, having that mentality going in the game, but I will be locking in the prediction on Friday. So anyways, guys, phone lines are open. Y'all want to squeeze in a last-minute call? Questions, comments, guys. Kemper, my guy. Appreciate you, my friend. Guys, let me quickly remind you, Saturday, we will be at Carolina Ale House Harbison in Columbia, South Carolina. We will not be going up to the game. We will instead be hosting our final watch party of the season. So if you're in the Columbia area, you're in the Midlands, maybe you just want to get out of the upstate if you're not going to the game, come on down. Again, Carolina Ale House Harbison. All the details are on social media, pinned to the top of all of our social media pages. Would love to see you guys out there. Going to be one hell of a time. Rebecca, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I mean, we can close the show that way if you guys want. What's your what's everybody thankful for? We want to share what we're thankful for. I said on the podcast today, guys, and I will mention it again. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for each and every single one of you guys that makes TSUS what it is on a day in, day out basis. That makes everything possible. Without you guys, it wouldn't be possible what we're doing, where we are, where we've been, what we're evolving into. And I'm just so grateful every single day that we have this support system of folks that tune in. I mean, I know there's, I talk to people about the Daily Crow and how special it is. And I'm like, man, there are people, we've got folks that tune in every single day. Like the Daily Crow has become part of, our part of our routines, right? And it's, it's funny, man, because I used to not do this, and it's like I almost can't even imagine life not doing this show. You know what I mean? It's become such an integral part of what I do on a day in, day out basis. So, happy says breathing in and out. Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for, and thankful to wake up every day and be happy, healthy, and Rebecca, thankful for Jesus Christ dying on the cross for me. Rebecca, you're the best. You're the best. Madison, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. Again, I would say take the time, enjoy it, enjoy family, enjoy friends, enjoy food, enjoy football. Enjoy that time, right? Enjoy that time. This is a great week. And again, like I said, guys, I'm thankful for my family, my friends, my people in my inner circle, those that rock with me and support me and show me love. Hell, I'm thankful for the people that don't like me too, man. I'm thankful for everybody that plays a role in my life, because without everyone, they're all essential. They're all essential. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for, I'm so grateful for the life that I've been able to construct and build. And it's a blessing, man. It's hard to put into words. So Travis Allen says 31-27 Gamecocks. I love that. Love the pick. Love the pick, man. Love the pick. So I hope it comes true. Hope it comes true for sure. Yeah, guys, again, I could just keep saying it. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for the continued love and support. Thankful that we get to do this day in, day out. And it's funny, man. I have people ask me all the time, what's the 5-year plan? And, what's your long-term goal? And, I certainly do have macro goals and long-term goals. And, but, I'm someone, guys, that I feel like you can get too caught up looking ahead. Right? Oh, this is what's going to happen in 5 years. This is the 5-year plan. Don't lose sight of the beauty of this present moment, man. Don't lose sight of how incredible it is. What you're doing in the present moment, because that's all you got. That's really all you got. The future is something down the road, and the past has already happened. All you have is this moment right now. So, Mitchell Red says, "How do you feel about Dana Beers not choosing South Carolina?" Yeah, it was disappointing. I don't know. I tell you this, if you couldn't get him after the weekend in Columbia, the Gamecocks beating Tennessee, I don't know. I guess you just didn't have a shot. I don't know. Justin Langford says, "We appreciate you, brother." Thank you, Justin. He says, "We hope everybody gets the turkey ham dressing along with deviled eggs, all the goodies like pecan pie, pumpkin pie." You making me hungry, Justin. You making me hungry right now. You making me hungry, my man. Anyways, guys, of course, no TDC tomorrow. We will be back on Friday. Like I said, we might go an extra hour. Maybe. Just stay tuned. Maybe we will. Greg Bedinger, much love to you, my friend. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We've hit 2 o'clock. Thank y'all so much again. Check out the podcast. I dropped this morning. Tuesday Presser Takeaways, best bet, SEC gambling picks for Rivalry Weekend. Of course, football Rivalry Weekend starts for us tomorrow, right? The Egg Bowl run throughout the weekend. Going to be a lot of fun, guys. Thank y'all so much again. Have a happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Those traveling, please be safe. And again, thank y'all so much. I'm thankful for each and every single one of you that tunes in, shows love. From the bottom of my heart, thank y'all so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you all on Friday.